Hi everyone, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening. Today we're going to solve some problems in the garden.
And we're going to start some seeds in the elevated beds.
Welcome to our garden here in Zone 5B/6A in upstate New York. Today we are tackling some problems in the garden. Some of them are created by nature. Some of them were created by us. But we want to take you along on the journey as we figure out how to resolve these issues.
The first problem that we're going to tackle today, no, we're not going to tackle the limelight hedge first. That's a little bit daunting. We're going to tackle our Jane magnolia. It's beautiful. It's grown very, very well over the last 6 years. But unfortunately, it's growing very wide. And we can't really get into mow easily. It's very hard to do an edge around this small circular bed. So we need to limb this up at least until we can get underneath it, then let it go wide. In our area, we've seen these get 30, 40 feet tall. They're really, really happy in upstate New York. So we have to make some kind of brutal cuts, Eric.
I think so, but I think it's the best time to do it because this is still a young shrub or tree. Ooh, our neighbor's mowing their lawn.
We're noticing that this branch here is one of the most problematic. So we'll probably be taking this one first, and that'll get us started with the brutal cuts. I want to point out where we're going to be making the cut. So
let me push some branches aside.
Get in here. So on, any kind of tree, we know that there's sort of the trunk and there's the branch and then there's the collar part where it kind of swells. I'm going to cut as close to that as I can without cutting into that collar part, because that collar part is what heals.
If a branch is any thicker than this, though, what we would do is we would, start sawing from the bottom.
Yep, make a little cut up.
And then
cut back down.
From the top.
We'll see if the pruner goes through, and then if we have to, we'll go and get a saw.
So while we're in here, what are you thinking is coming out? Because I'm not sure we agree. I'm interested to hear your opinion.
1, 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
3. This whole thing. This one. And that one.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's definitely going to open it up.
It's going to be, I don't even know if the open up is the right word. It's going to be tall and skinny.
All right.
But every one of those branches is one of the horizontal ones. And if you notice, everything else goes up.
This one right here for sure, because I always run into it when I'm mowing the lawn.
Why don't I make my life easy and take this first?
Oh, well, there you go, magnolia.
This I'm not worried about the collar because it's going to the ground. All right, this bodes well for the thickness cutting pretty easy.
All right.
I might have to take a saw and very gingerly take those out. All right, well, that's one. Next up is this one.
Oh, too close, too close. There you go. Too close.
Too close?
Yep.
Okay. Better?
Yep.
Wow, that's a good
Let's
cut.
see how it looks. It's funny, it's making it look taller. You don't even miss it. And it's making it look taller.
That's a really good thing. I was afraid that this was going to look like the Charlie Brown magnolia.
No, I think it already looks better. I'm very surprised. I'm wondering if for now, we just cut it here where it crosses out.
I can do that.
And then we can always cut more off.
If we need to.
If we need to.
All right, I'm just above the collar. Oh, you're right.
And then we can always cut more of it off.
It looks great from this angle.
Looks great from the front. Then we need to get this one.
When this was younger, we limbed it up once because the sprinkler couldn't make it through and the grass behind it looked terrible. Remember that?
Yeah, I mean, we're constantly pruning on this tree. So maybe this one?
Yeah, I thought that one was gonna happen. This is gonna be a big visual one. It's gonna look a lot different after this. Ready?
Yep. Doesn't look that different. But now it makes me want to take, now this whole branch has to go.
Okay.
Is this even the right time of year to be doing this?
That's
Probably.
a good question, but you know, it has to happen.
It has to happen. This is, you know, we're weekend gardeners.
It's the weekend.
We are weekend gardeners, so we do. When we
I'm
can.
not hating this. I thought this had to go as well. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
Oh, wait. I just realized if I take here, this lower portion, it would fix that problem.
I think that whole branch might just go, though. It actually looks so much better.
It looks so much better. I don't know.
Let's walk away from it for a moment.
There's a gardening tip for you. If you're ever in doubt, walk away from it, come back to it in a minute.
Here's why I'm okay cutting it off, because it's heading towards the house.
You're right. And when this goes, it'll just open the tree up to become more of a tree and less of a big shrub.
Yeah. So that's what we want. We want a magnolia tree, not a magnolia shrub. That's a big one. Oh, those worked. Those are really good loppers.
Yeah, they are. They're
Oh,
heavy.
our neighbor's dog is here. Hello.
Oh my goodness.
Hello. Come here.
You're back again.
Come here. You escaped again,
You
didn't
escaped
you?
again. That means that your mama's home from college.
Oh my goodness. We got to return you.
Let's return you back.
She has an Apple AirTag on her. That's
Oh my
so funny.
gosh.
All right. Go return the dog.
I'll be right back.
So you're back from returning the dog.
I'm back from returning the dog.
This looks like a lot of branch, which it really is, but I like this a lot. And all of these cuts are going to heal over. We're going to be able to tidy up this edge, get the mower around. And another problem we had was the sprinkler head for this area of the lawn is here to water that portion of the lawn. So by having trunks, it's going to be able to get through there even easier.
It's going to be really nice. I'm so happy we did this. We've
I
been
am
hemming
too.
and hawing about it all season.
And the last thing I want to do is get in here with some pruners and just kind of take out any branches growing inward. Speaking of pruners,
There you go.
thank you. Growing inward. So I'm just going to cut it off. Growing inward, cutting it off, growing inward. I kind of want to take this one too.
Take it.
Anything that's kind of growing inward, we're just going to take because we might as well.
We might as well. And honestly, it's better for the airflow of the tree and the health. And for millions of reasons, it's better to take a little of that interior growth out.
Yeah, and is this the best time of year to be pruning? We already talked about that. We don't know, but this is when we have the time.
Wow. We have a tree.
I think it looks really good.
And I got lots of kisses from Pumpkin. So this is one successful problem solved.
Our next problem was created by us, and that is right here to my right. We have our air conditioning unit located here, and it's really hard to reach.
Right. And we have an appointment for our HVAC maintenance, and I'm not sure how they're going to get in there.
So one of the things we thought about, because this is a new construction home, all of this is within the last 5-6 years, is we wanted to mask the air conditioner so you didn't necessarily see it. And there's a couple of ways you could do that. You could use like a small fence, you could use some sort of box. I've seen other people using boxes, or we can plant in front of it. And we thought we'll just plant in front of it. That'll work. Forgetting that things grow together and that now it's kind of hard to get to the air conditioner. So we poked around a little bit, and the easiest way, I think, is between this hydrangea and this viburnum. And so what that means is we got to go in and prune some stuff out and make a path. Our first shrub right here that kind of steals the show is the light o'day hydrangea. It is a big leaf hydrangea, but we don't get blooms on it. But I like to keep it just because the foliage is so pretty. It has that nice variegation on it. I'm thinking maybe if we protect it this winter, we'll get flowers on it next year.
That'd be awesome.
That would be really great. Next to it is a hinoki cypress. So this is a nice little loose structured evergreen, which I enjoy. Limelight prime hydrangea, which is a smaller version of the limelight. And a brandywine viburnum. And this is starting to get its berries that are blue and red in the winter. In front of that is a drift of wee bit innocent hydrangeas, which were just planted this past spring, and you can see they're starting to put out lots of new growth.
Lots
so they're
of new growth.
happy. And I don't know if we're going to keep this viburnum here indefinitely.
I don't know.
I don't know. But in the meantime, what I want to do is, one, get in here and cut back some of this big leaf hydrangea growth to give these hydrangeas some breathing room.
Yeah, there's actually 5 of them in there, and I realized we could only see 3.
So that's going to give them a little more light and a little more breathing room. Let me actually climb in here and get to the back, and then we can decide. Because one, this viburnum is starting to touch the house, which we don't want.
Yes, we don't want that. Part of the reason that we did the stone drip line around the house is to give that breathing room for the plants to get bigger. But we do want to, whoa, hoist.
Catch!
Catch.
So we'll take all of
Okay,
this.
that looks so different and so nice.
In a good way?
In a good way. I feel like it was very much
I am terrible at throwing these branches over.
congested somehow, and it just opened it up. Very interested to see what these next couple of clips bring us. All right. Well, you know
believe
what?
I'm on film doing this. So terribly.
The Olympics are over almost, so don't
Shockingly,
don't worry.
I didn't make the Olympic team.
The viburnum chuck.
Representing the United States of America in the great viburnum branch chucking. Better?
2 out of 10.
Okay. Then,
What are you finding?
some viburnum branch that was buried and rooted itself a bit.
Interesting.
I'm also finding this weed.
Whoa. What is that, a pokeweed?
No.
It's just a tall weed. Interesting. That's the other thing we keep saying. We need to do a deep dive on like weeds in our garden and try to learn what they are. That would be fun. I like a viburnum texture because they're so upright and glossy.
So I went in back here and cut back the viburnum and this hydrangea, which provides access around the air conditioning unit. But that still doesn't solve how the people will get back here.
I feel like the Astilbes, I'm just going to tell him to trample and not worry about it and just kind of push things to the side.
Sure. Do you think I should cut in here a bit?
I don't think you need to. I feel like those are push-assideable. It's what's on the ground that would be more problematic. I remember when this willow was just a little half-gallon, tiny little plant that didn't get in the way of anything. And now it's getting a little bit in the way of the air conditioner intake air. So I definitely want to pull away some of the growth that's over the top of it because we don't want any issues with that. And also, like Eric said, we want to get the stuff that's touching the house. Wow, in one season, that is a big growth.
They really are big growers. Just coming back here to join you so we can see what's happening.
There we go. Yeah, I'm just kind of at my pollard knot. I guess I've been calling it a knot in my head. I don't know if that's any kind of terminology. But just anything that's going directly at the house has to go.
And this is part of gardening. A lot of people just want to put in a garden and then not touch it again. They want really low maintenance. And I understand that appeal. But with that, you're limited as to what you can plant and what you can do. So if you're willing to put in the work, like we're doing, you can have some cool little structures and fun things like this.
Especially because this is supposed, these just get gigantic and fill space. So why not make it something a little more special?
Yeah.
All right, clearance here is a little better.
And the good thing about willows is you can just...
There's no such
Cut 'em
thing as
off.
damaging a willow. All right, I'm just going to hand that
those
off
off.
to you. There you go. Okay.
We're accumulating quite the pile. Let me follow you.
Yes, follow me. This is really, this is getting in there kind of gardening, you know? I like it.
You don't just cut the front of your hair. Sometimes you got to cut the back too.
Where would you have ever come up with that kind of idea, Eric? I'm a hairdresser. Okay.
Oh, I was like, I don't know. Makes sense. What are these? What is this weed?
What are you
Oh,
talking
no, that's willow.
That is willow.
Oh, all right.
But, you know, it's interesting. So the ones up here get those darker green colors. These down here don't get the darker green colors because they don't get as much sun. So I'm just going to...
Oh, God. They're strong.
Let's get rid of them.
Are you going to cut them closer to the trunk, or will they start branching? If you leave them
Honestly,
like that?
At this point in the season, I'm not too worried about it because ultimately they're not going to have enough time to get too big. And then I can really clear this out when I'm taking down the hosta foliage and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Should I take some of this thalictrum that's passed?
So I wouldn't, only because we want it to
Oh, seed itself.
reseed. So if we kind of help it along, it'll reseed itself.
Wouldn't that be awesome? It's not a heavy reseeder, so I'm not afraid of us putting millions of seeds
Also,
in
what
there.
I think is really funny is we took the time to put the stake in, but forgot to tie the plant to the stake.
Oops.
This smoke bush, which is supposed to get 4 by 6 tall and wide, is getting pruned this next spring. For sure. I love it, but it is getting a little big. Back here's the Aphrodite sweet shrub.
Oh my gosh, the second that I snipped it,
It smells so good, doesn't it?
so good. Can I cut these here?
Oh yeah, I would cut them all. I would cut them even lower than that. You can also see the hose on the ground. This is the hose that runs to the yard and fork. You guys are really getting behind the scenes today. You're getting to see the ugly side of the gardening. Look at all that hose piled back there for the yard enforcer.
It's really funny that it's
I
just
know.
this giant tangle of hose.
I know. If you turn around, I can take those branches.
Oh my goodness, it's so much.
It smells really good though.
It's like a...
And then are you going to get those down there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, wait, go to the other side so we can see.
Yep. Hook this up to myself here.
It smells so good and fresh.
It does. It's a very fresh fragrance. I think
Yeah.
we have now achieved the... Oh, maybe this one.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've achieved our back of the east side chopper. There is a place to jump here, Eric, if you want.
I don't want to risk stepping on hydrangeas. So I'm going to risk stepping on lamium because lamium.
Yeah, that's fine.
Lamium is very disposable in my opinion.
What's it look like? What's it look? Oh my goodness!
I think
That looks
it doesn't look that
great.
different, but I know that it is. worth
I
the
know it
effort.
looks different.
I mean, look how much we cut off though.
It's a lot of plant material, but this is great. I feel like everything around the house is now lightened a little bit.
Ooh, and an Aphrodite sweet shrub bloom.
As our day continues, we are going to continue avoiding tackling the limelight hedge, and we're going to turn our focus to the elevated beds. We've had a lot of fun this year. This elevated bed area from Gardener's Supply, these beds are 2x8, 2x4, and 2x2. We stained them black with a food-safe poly-way stain, I believe it was
Yes.
called, and we did 3 coats of charcoal a couple years ago. So this has actually held up for over 2 seasons, which is really nice. And then, of course, we have our arches over the 2.
Speaking of, look at the pumpkins.
Yeah, this is Jacoby Little Pumpkin, and it's doing so nicely. Honestly, I put this in specifically because I wanted to have the little pumpkins to decorate with at Halloween. That's all I wanted. Over there, there's one that's so big, and they stay little, so we don't have to support them or anything. On this side, we have a green bean, and this is a cypress vine.
And I did harvest all the green beans this morning.
Yes, we have this exact planting mirrored on the other bed. And we got a lot of beans from the other side. This one, not so many beans. That's okay. This is a celery. There's a rosemary in there. Tomatoes, peppers, sage, basil, all kinds of goodies. And then we also installed the Garden in Minutes garden grid to each bed. So these get a very significant drip about 3 minutes a day. There's water that shoots out in all directions inward, so it gives a really nice coverage. Eric recently took the potatoes out. We harvested our little potatoes. There, we had some red, we had some gold, not a ton of potatoes.
I wouldn't say we had a ton. I think we struggled with learning how much water comes out of the grids.
Yes, and it was a really hot summer. There was a lot of weather factors, us factors. So we're learning about our beds, learning about our watering, and it's a lot of fun. So seeds that we're going to be planting this year in our little 1-foot squares, we're going to be starting with bok choy. The reason we're doing bok choy is actually because Eric bought some for fall containers last year, and we loved it. It looked so cute. So maybe we'll eat some. I don't know. Do you want to eat some this year?
I mean, I'll eat anything.
There you go.
But also we'll decorate with it.
Right. And this one I got from Baker Creek Seeds, the rareseeds.com. They have really interesting stuff. So this was called Shanghai Green Choy. So we'll definitely do some of that. We also have from the same source, the Bull's Blood Beets. These I know you can harvest greens pretty quickly from. And then we'll also get the beets. That'll be fun. We have this kale, a premier blend, which could be kind of fun to do for decorating and or eating. I don't know, we don't eat a lot of kale.
I mean, we might eat it if we grow it.
We might eat it if we grow it. Then we have a red lettuce, because when you order from Baker Creek, sometimes they send you free seeds, and that's fun. So let's start those. We have a mesclun mix of lettuce. We have radishes. These say that they only take like 20 days.
We've grown those before, and I really liked them.
I think that'll be fun. The neon shard, or neon glow rainbow shard, they're really pretty. Again, maybe we'll eat them. I don't know. We'll see. But then this one's the one I'm the most excited about. It's another one of the free seeds that Rare Seeds sent, and it's called Mizuna Beni Hushi. And I guess it's a Japanese heirloom green. You can use it like arugula. You can eat it raw, or you can cook it. But it has really pretty purple stems.
That is pretty.
So I want to plant it and see what happens. Now we have to figure out where we want to put them and how much of each we want to do. We know we want a lot of bok choy because some we might eat and some we might decorate with. Should we do 4?
We'll do 4 squares of the bok choy right there.
Yep. And the beets, how many should we do of beets?
What's the spacing on the beets?
That's a good question. Sometimes the seed packets have tons and some, 4 to 6 inches apart.
Oh, okay.
So we could probably do, realistically, we should do 4 beets in each of these.
Okay.
So let's do 8 beets and see what happens.
Okay.
We'll do 8 beets because this is very experimental.
Yes, we are definitely better at the ornamental gardening.
And then this is 1 inch apart for radishes. Do you want to do
I really
4
liked
radish?
those radishes, but I'm thinking for visuals to save the radishes for the other bed.
Okay, we could do that. Then do you want to do the neon glow shard over here?
Yes.
We'll do that. We'll just do 2 of those. How's that? 4, 4, and 2 of the shard.
Okay.
We'll do that.
And then
Okay.
let's go lay them out on the other bed.
Then we have, I really want to do this Mizuna. Why don't we do 2 of the Mizuna? And then radishes, do you want to do these 3? And then do lettuce and kale across the back? Because this you just thin, like the lettuces, I thought I'd mix them together, and then you just kind of like cut and come again.
Oh.
You just like snip off little bits and have your little baby
Well, why don't we do a
salad.
quadrant of that then? This can be a quadrant of lettuce.
Okay.
Then we can do the radishes, and then we can do
2 radish, 2 Mizuna, 2 kale. Oh wait, don't we have
splitting
one?
the bed the other way.
Do we have an empty hole in the 2x4 right there?
Oh yeah, you can
So-
do something here instead.
Why don't we put another Mizuna in there just because it would be a pretty color?
I think we should take one of those things out of that and put it here.
The kale.
Okay.
Just because I'm just really excited about it.
Okay.
Let me open up Shanghai Green Choy. The spacing is 6 inches apart, so I think I'm just going to kind of loosely go 4 in each.
Yeah, we're gonna thin it, right?
Yeah, we'll thin it. So I'll just do like a couple here. It says to do these 1/4 inch deep. So what I'm gonna do to make my life easy, since this is really nice soil, it's very lofty, and there's a lot of sort of air pockets in there that I can see, I'm just gonna put this on. And then I'm gonna top dress with some of the Penobscot Blend planting mix from Coast of Maine that we've been using, because it has all of the goodies, kind of like, it's kind of like burying them in compost almost. And this is my new favorite tool in the garden.
It's a nice scoop.
It's the Super Scoop.
The hummingbirds are loving this vine that we planted.
Yeah, and then since it's only 1/4 inch deep, I'm just gonna top dress it.
And that has a lot of nutrients in it too.
It has oyster shells and the mycorrhizal fungi and all that kind of good stuff.
I think it'll get them off to a nice start.
And time-wise, based on our average first frost in our area, which is usually around the first week of October, we'll already hopefully have planted these in our fall containers. And well, yeah, by then we'll have lots of fall containers planted.
Yeah, I mean, usually we do our fall containers around Labor Day, so I don't know if these will be ready by then, but might as well try.
Right. And then, you know what? Then we'll learn for next year when we have to time these things properly. Cool. Let's move on to the beets. Ooh, 1/2 inch deep. So this I'll probably press in a little bit more. Beet seeds are so funny looking because they look like tiny rocks, like little craggy rocks. They do not look like they're a food thing. So I wouldn't say I'm scattering these at all.
No, it's very interesting seeing how your brain works versus how I would have done it. Can we just try one thing?
Sure.
If I went through like this.
And now I have little targets to plant in. How
we'll put like
fun.
2 in each one. I feel like that's what Monty Down would have done. But he would have had like
a dibbler.
A dibbler. And then you can cover it with Penobscot.
Awesome. Well, we're doing some more over here. Can you do my little planting holes here, please? But you know what the dibbler does have that my finger doesn't have? Is an indicator of how deep I'm going. Oh, that's true, because this is only supposed to be a 1/2 inch deep.
Yeah.
That's okay.
And, you know, I don't know if I'm that cognizant of a 1/2 inch. Approximately what a 1/2 inch is.
Yeah, sort of in there.
It's in the ground, in the soil. It's a lot of beets.
Yeah, this is the kind of last crumbs of it, so I'm gonna
go heavy.
Yeah, I'll go a little heavier with it because some of these are weird and they look like a crumb and not like a seed.
Also, what was the spacing supposed to be? Because I totally forgot.
It was supposed to be 4 to 6 inches.
Oh, perfect.
So these are about 2 to 3 inches.
Well, you know, we do this for fun.
Yeah. But you know what? We're gonna have so many beets, and we're gonna be out here singing "The Beat Goes On."
At least we'll have beet greens at the very least.
Yes, we will have beet greens. So everyone will be jealous of our beet greens.
It's okay to break the rules every once in a while.
Right, absolutely. So our last one is these neon glow shard. These are a 1/2 inch deep and 2 inches apart. So can you make the exact same planting holes you just did?
But not as deep.
Not as deep.
All right.
Wow, these seeds look really funny too. They look a lot like the beet seeds.
What are these again? The rainbow shard?
This is the neon glow shard.
Oh, okay.
So rainbow shard, I think, just comes up kind of red and yellow. This actually comes up and it's like neon pink.
Oh.
It's going to be kind of funny.
I wonder if it tastes like anything special.
I don't even think I know what shard tastes like. I bought these specifically because they were a funny color.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all you need. You only need one reason.
That's it. That's my reason.
What I have here is mescaline mix and Merlot lettuce. And it looks like, oh, broadcast about 1/2 inch apart. Not required, thinning not required for baby beans. Greens.
Greens, yeah, not beans.
So when it says broadcast, does that just mean like this?
Yeah, you just sprinkle it out. I feel like this is, wait, was that it?
No, there's some more.
Oh, okay. That was enough, I think, for that one. Especially if we're going to try doing cut and come again.
And then this is the Merlot lettuce. Will be these next two. Oh, we have no labels in our elevated beds either, which I don't know.
Well, you know what? Right now, we are labeling. That's what we'll call this labeling.
Oopsies.
All right, well, that's great. That's fine. They're gonna do great.
They're gonna do great, just like most things.
Yep.
That we plant in these elevated beds. These,
I think it's 1 inch apart and 1/2 inch deep.
Okay.
So you can make lots of teeny holes. Maybe we can use one quadrant to try greens, and then the next ones we can just let grow to full radishes.
Sure. Seed starting for me, I don't know. I struggle with it. It's like not my favorite thing.
There's a bit of a tediousness to it.
You know what? It's kind of the same as with bulb planting. Those of you that have been watching us long enough to see our bulb planting videos, it's just kind of like that, like lack of instant gratification at the end of it all, where you plant it, and then you're like, okay, there it is. And I get it. Like, this is how everything starts. I feel like I could be better at this, and the only way I'm gonna get better at it is by doing it more.
Look at that.
Close enough.
All right, so we've got that done. And then I'm kind of excited to try eating this. Mizuna.
Seed depth. Seed space 8 inches apart.
We're gonna do 4 in each. So there'll be 8 plants total.
Like this?
Yep.
That's not 8 inches apart, but I feel like
we're gonna make
why
it.
follow the rules now?
Yeah. I almost wonder too, if they were in the ground too close together, if that would be a problem, but since they're in such lofty, good soil, there'll be more than enough nutrients and such. What do those seeds look like? Oh, you know, seeds. They're slightly different colors. That's interesting.
Yeah. So we just gotta keep our eye on these and then thin them out. Gorgeous.
All right, cool. Let me hand you the scoop and the soil, and you can just lightly top dress everything.
One of the things I like to do with my plastic bags when I'm working with them and I have to reach in is roll them outwards. I find that it keeps them open better and
Much easier to work with.
much easier to work with, and your arm does not get as dirty.
Look at these garden tips today. And then we'll water these guys in.
Love this. What is this?
Penobscot.
I love it.
It smells really good.
Time to water them in, but before we do that, I wanted to give you an update on our Vigo hose reel. This is the 100-foot high flow hose reel. And we installed these in early spring, and I have to say, I really, really like them. My favorite thing about them is that they are super long, so it reaches the back corner of the garden, and that it comes with all of these quick connects to attach and detach things. Like, we can go ahead and put our chapin on here so that we can fertilize really easy, and also this turns on and off.
That's really nice, being able to control the water flow.
And that's why I always check it before I try and water something in with it.
You never know when we were trying to faux power wash. I
Yes.
like the flow on this. It's supposed to be the slightly higher flow, which I did notice a big difference from our previous one that we had gotten at Costco.
Oh, the water is much better than that.
The gentle setting works really well, the shower setting. The retraction is quick. You definitely want to be aware that they've got a nice tight retraction capability.
I like the thumb control, high flow, all the way down to just like
The trickle.
a trickle.
We've been really pleased with it. It's held up nicely.
I would recommend that if you, and they have 3 lengths now actually. They have the 130 foot, they have the 100 foot, and then they have a shorter one. But if you need a long one like we needed, this is a great solution. So part of my tip for controlling hoses when retracting them is I like to run the water over my hand so that I don't just let the hose go, but it creates enough like slickness so that I can control the hose
Without burning your hand.
without burning my hand. So this is my own little tip that I've discovered no matter what retractable hose I use.
But while we're over here, I just want to point out that where I have the smart timer, I actually have the same quick connects connected to all of our drip lines and all of the sort of hose bib situation. So it's very easy for us to unclip this and bring it into the garage for the winter because you don't want all these parts and pieces hanging out in the cold and the freeze cycle.
While we're looking at that, Christopher, is that a Sun King Aurelia seedling?
No. Do we have a Sun King Aurelia seedling?
How is that possible?
Well, I think it's very possible because we have a giant Sun King Aurelia that apparently has had a baby.
We need to save that.
We really do.
This right here is our limelight hedge. We planted this in 2018. The limelights are spaced 5 feet apart on center, and we adore this hedge. It is a lot of work, but we love it. Unfortunately, it got demolished in the torrential storm we had the other day. The blooms are enormous, and so what happens is, if you come in here, Christopher, you can see that this shrub has sent out all this growth this year. I mean, what is this? 2.5, 3 feet of growth?
It's about, like 3
and
feet.
It's still soft wood. And then on top of it, it sends out this enormous flower the size of my head. All of this holds the water, and the weight of that water caught in the blooms is what weighs it down. Now, there's really not much you can do to prevent it. There are newer varieties that are bred to have even stronger stems. So this is the thing, like, what do? Do we just start deadheading as much as possible and start giving away flowers to neighbors?
This is a tough one because we do adore the hedge. It's so established and wonderful. But with these wet, heavy rains, I mean, we just had the remnants of that tropical storm, and that's what officially did it in. We did, I would say 3/4 of it was upright after some regular storms, but then we had something very different.
You know, limelight is that variety that started the panicle hydrangea revolution here in North America. And so it is an old variety, and there have been so many improvements since this hydrangea was first introduced to the market, including sturdier stems. So part of me is like, oh, do we tear this out and do something new?
I mean,
take out some of them and make a flower bed? I mean, when this happens after a giant storm, and it's never been this bad.
No, it's never been this bad. It's been not so great a few times, but this is particularly aggressive.
And it was an aggressive storm, but we live in an area that gets really bad storms.
Yeah, we're going to get those crazy rains, especially in August. It's kind of normal for us to get those torrential thunderstorms. And there's this part of me, while he's looking, that thinks about that beautiful fence line with the mixed border. And what if I turned over here and where Eric was a beautiful, tall firefly spruce surrounded by maybe an urn and different hydrangeas that just kind of swooped around. And eventually this area turned into kind of a curved path through this big, beautiful mixed border. It's brutal. even thinking about it, but I think it's worth thinking about.
Well, the other thing is we have to remember why we installed this hedge to begin with. We installed this hedge not even anticipating having a fence in here. So we installed the hedge for privacy. Right now, we don't have that same need for it. We have the fence. So the purpose of the hedge initially was privacy. The added beauty was a super bonus.
Right.
Now, as they've been in the ground for 6 seasons, they are beautiful, but they are a lot of maintenance. So it's something to consider. If this is what happens almost every summer, do we want to keep these hydrangeas?
And I'll tell you that before the garden tour, when we knew we had people coming, we did live a little bit in fear that we were going to have a big rainstorm and flop the hydrangeas for the tour.
Yeah, it is always a worry. It's like you can look around and you can see nothing else, knock on wood, really is flattened by the rain quite like these limelights were. The Quickfire Fabs are pretty upright. The Pinky Winkies and original Quickfires are pretty upright. So we love our limelight hedge. It's one of the first things we installed, but we know more about gardening, and there's been so many improvements in panicle hydrangeas. It's something to consider.
It's something to consider. I would personally love to see your comments on whether or not turning the west fence line into a mixed border with evergreens, smaller hydrangeas, perennials,
Curved lines.
It would be, a 15-foot deep border.
I think to solve this problem today, what we should do is prune as much as we can and make some bouquets and put them at the bottom of the driveway for neighbors to take.
Yes, that was successful. We put a free flowers sign up and lots of people stopped.
And then that'll solve kind of the problem of being able to mow and stuff. And then once we know what we're going to do, we can either put in the hard labor to like really prune it up and make them perfect again. Or maybe we can get someone with a backhoe in here and just like remove them all. So we've both spent quite a bit of time cutting. You can see all throughout the hedge there are lots of cuts from the heaviest of blooms. It doesn't really make a difference visually.
No, you really can't tell from 3 feet away that we did anything.
So we're just gonna step away for now and kind of think about our options and reassess. And I think we have some time before these harden like this.
Right. But we also, honestly, when you have a big garden problem, it's probably best to assess, take some time, think about it, and then decide if we're making a radical change or if we're just going to continue tending to this.
I agree. I love this limelight hedge, and I would love to see it be successful. But as gardeners, it's so tempting to have this brand new space available to us.
That would be a lot of fun. We'll have to see.
We've got to think about it. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on that. Thank you so much for joining us today in our garden as we solved some problems. We might have created some new ones for us, but that's part of gardening.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us as we get some of these seeds started for the fall.
Again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me Gardening.
Thanks for growing with us.